November 22nd, 2021. Halfcast 192, episode 192. Let's go. Happy Monday, you guys. Of course, I have a few things to share with you. An evening of reflection. Let's do it. Assembly finds overwhelming evidence Cuomo engaged in sexual harassment. When the front page of the Post said Cuomo was at the end of his grope. Yeah, that's blood in the water right there. When they initially called it a flagrant groping, I remember reading on one occasion, he reached his hand down a woman's blouse, into a woman's blouse. That doesn't leave anything for you. Your defense is done after that. It's not like, well, maybe he bumped into me and on occasion, like, what is it with these politicians that as soon as they get in office, they think they just have free reign to grab all the ass in the office? It's like, yeah, like you just keep your hands to yourself, buddy. An 8-month impeachment investigation by the New York State Assembly found that former Governor Andrew M. Cuomo abused his power while in office, citing overwhelming evidence that he engaged in sexual harassment. The findings reinforce a damning investigation by the state attorney general that led Mr. Cuomo, a 3-term governor, to resign in disgrace. We have a whole prince out there. We have royalty out there that's up against allegations for misconducting himself in all types of sexual manners. You're just a government. You're just a governor. What makes you think that you weren't going to get caught with this? If the past 50 guys that came before you that were in politics have all gone down the same fucking way, wouldn't you think that maybe I should keep my hands inside the roller coaster for this ride? But the 46-page report released on Monday went beyond the sexual harassment accusations, further damaging Mr. Cuomo's legacy and his continued attempts, fueled by $18 million in unspent campaign funds to preserve it. There's no fixing this, bro. Like, it is just no fixing it. Throwing money at it doesn't make it go away when you're just like, and it's multiple counts. It's to the point where there's no gray area that it could have maybe been an accusation. It's not just one or two things could have been misconstrued, maybe, know what I mean, or somebody's trying to slander you, or it's not even that. It's like, you did it. You fucking did it. Investigators hired by the Assembly Judiciary Committee concluded that Mr. Cuomo, a Democrat, they made sure they threw that in there, used state workers and other public resources to write, publish, and promote his memoir about handling of the coronavirus pandemic, a likely violation of state ethics laws. Using public resources to do a personal project. The inquiry also found that Mr. Cuomo was not fully transparent regarding the number of nursing home residents who died as a result of COVID-19. The Cuomo administration became engulfed in scandal last year, following reports that the state was undercounting coronavirus deaths in nursing homes after the governor issued directive requiring facilities to accept COVID-19 patients. The findings of the investigation had led one committee member to say last week that it would be reasonable to infer a connection between Mr. Cuomo's $5.1 million book deal and his administration's decision to manipulate nursing home death data. So he's already eyeing a bag somewhere else. He knows he's out. The report makes multiple references to investigators sharing some of the evidence with law enforcement officials, suggesting that there may be further legal repercussions for Mr. Cuomo. While the Assembly report described sexual harassment accusations from 12 women, including one who had previously gone public but was not included in Ms. James' report, They focused on two of them. They are an unidentified state trooper and Brittany Comiso, the former executive assistant to Mr. Cuomo, who accused him of groping her and whose allegations form the basis of a criminal complaint against him. At issue in that case has been the date on which the encounter allegedly occurred. The Attorney General's report placed it in mid November, while investigators for the assembly identified the likely date as December 7th using evidence like entry card swipes and text messages to support that timeline. The report vigorously affirms Miss Camiso's account, citing a text message that she sent immediately before the alleged incident, card swipes confirming her actions before and after, in the outfit Mr. Cuomo was wearing that day. The report stated that it had found no material inconsistencies in Miss Camiso's account or the accounts of those who corroborated it, saying that while investigators had found minor discrepancies, they are common among witnesses and are often referred to as the hallmark of truth. Yeah, there's no way you can discredit her. There's no way you can say that she's making this up. You can't try to jumble up the timelines, or you did it, man. Pastor tackled by father who allegedly witnessed him grope his 9-year-old son at a bus stop. We're not having this. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Don't touch my fucking child. In Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, a 9-year-old boy was touched inappropriately by 33-year-old Michael Coghill while waiting for his school bus. According to the police report from the Oklahoma City Police Department, the guy touched him on the back and he didn't like the way that it made him feel. Shout out to the little boy. Shout out to the little boy for understanding that when somebody touches you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, there is absolutely nothing wrong in telling a parent or another adult about it, because if it makes you feel wrong, most likely it is wrong. The boy's father tackled the pastor upon allegedly witnessing an incident. Yesterday, our adult that was made aware of the situation actually stopped, retrieved the recording device, monitored at the bus stop, observed and viewed the suspect run past the bus stop, come back, and then touch the juvenile. Oklahoma Police Sergeant Dylan Quirk told KFOR. So upon identifying the man, the father ran up and tackled the minister to the ground. It's not funny, but hey, it's not funny, but keep your hands to yourself. This should be the theme of the show today. Keep your hands to yourself. Fracturing his skull and cracking his eye socket, leaving scratches and bruises all over his face. The police reports also said that the man has jogged past the bus stop multiple times and that he seemed to know when the kids would arrive every day. And that's predatory behavior right there. Lisa Ward, a witness whose children also wait at the same bus stop every day, shared her disgust with News 9. There's hardly any words that are camera appropriate. It's just sickening, she said. Where do they just come out of the woodworks and prey on children? And that he knew the time he would be there every day. That was the hardest part, the most disgusting part. She admitted that she had seen him jogging in the area before and that he was bloodied upon entering the police vehicle after being tackled to the ground. And I don't take any satisfaction in this, but just knowing that we're getting more vigilant in how we look out for our children among these people who are supposed to be upstanding pillars in our community. They can fall too, just like the governor is supposed to be a pillar of the community. These pastors are supposed to be good examples and pillars in the community. We shall all be held to the same standard, and nobody gets a free pass. He was in the cop car, bloody. It was just gut wrenching knowing he was even in that cop car across the street, she said. Our church leadership has no tolerance for any type of abuse. They said safety is our highest priority for our community, congregation, and especially our children. These past years, we have made significant efforts to secure our children's area, providing the highest safety standards possible. They claimed to be heartbroken by the news and shocked as Coghill had no previous reports or claims against him, along with a clean background check. A clean background check doesn't mean that you haven't done anything in the past. It just means that you haven't got caught. The elders met tonight and determined it was in the best interest of all parties for Mike to be relieved from all duties. He will no longer be on staff at Lacahoma. They added, very shocking, very, very shocking. I'm so grateful I'm able to walk with my child every day to the bus stop. Ward said, glad that they caught him. It actually seemed that he was taking a jog around the bus stop at those times to see what parents are watching the children and what parents to see how to see how secure it was, and maybe he would have tried to pull something, maybe he wouldn't, but either way, I'm glad these this concerned parent took the time to make sure he didn't get a chance to try anything and whoop that ass. Yeah, it does feel a little and whoop his ass at the same time. 14 people, still about $120,000 worth of Louis Vuitton merchandise from Chicago store. I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on it. Yo, we going shopping. I ain't got no money. Who cares? A group of over a dozen people stormed a Louis Vuitton store in a Chicago suburb and stole about $120,000 worth of merchandise. Police said the suspects were caught on video wearing masks and sweatshirts as they grabbed bags and cleared out shelves in the store. The incident occurred in the Oak Brook Center in Oak Brook, Illinois on Wednesday around 3:30 p.m. Oak Brook police said in a news release, the merchandise stashed in their arms and bags. The 14 thieves escaped in three separate cars. As of Friday, the police had recovered one of the three vehicles used, a Dodge Charger reported stolen in October out of Chicago. Man mistaken for another, placed in mental institution, sues Hawaii for putting them there. This is the same Hawaii who arrested a 10-year-old girl for drawing pictures of her bully, a formerly homeless man who was in a mental institution for 2 years and 8 months due to a mistaken identity, is suing the state of Hawaii. Let's go on and say it's safe to assume that after he digs deep into Hawaii's pockets, he's going to be far from homeless for a very, very, very long time. Is suing the state of Hawaii and several police officers, public defenders, and doctors. Joshua Spearsterbox attorneys filed the lawsuit at the U.S. District Court in Honolulu on Sunday. According to an Associated Press report, the lawsuit said that Hawaii officials haven't responded to a petition filed in August to correct the error that got him institutionalized, because it's easier to just lock him up and admit him to a mental facility than it is to actually figure out who he is before you take him down there and book him in the first place, right? Spearsterbox identity mix-up began in 2017 when he was waiting in a long line for food at a Honolulu homeless shelter and fell asleep on the sidewalk. A police officer mistook Spearsterbox for Thomas Castleberry, who violated probation on a 2006 drug case and arrested him. So you don't fingerprint nobody. You don't do anything. You don't take any additional steps to make sure you got the right person. The AP reported that in 2011, Spearsterbach gave authorities the name Castleberry, his grandfather's last name, when he was arrested for sleeping in the middle school stairwell, which might have been the origin of the mix-up. Did he give, oh, he gave somebody an alias? Though Spearsterbach insisted that he was not Castleberry and gave authorities his name and social security number, no one believed him, and they transferred him to Hawaii State Hospital. In what precinct are you encouraged to lock people up without properly identifying them before you go through the whole process of fingerprinting and booking, which also that stuff costs the state money when you're doing this. So it should be imperative that you make sure you got the right guy. CNN reported that at HSH, Spearsterbach was ordered to attend group sessions for illegal drug users due to Castleberry's drug history. When Spearsterbach refused, they gave him antipsychotic medications that made him feel despondent and catatonic. And basically, if you're not crazy when you go in there, by the time we finish doping you up, you will be. The more he insisted that he was innocent, the more doctors thought he was psychotic. That is a nightmare. That is like some Shutter Island shit. Keeping him at the hospital until one doctor finally believed him. Spearsterbach's lawyers said officials tried to cover up the mistake by setting him free quietly with just 50 cents to his name. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Spearsterbach's lawsuit alleges false imprisonment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, malicious prosecution, abuse of process, and other claims. Abuse of process because nobody took the time to verify this man's identity because he's homeless. They thought he didn't have any type of rights and they just threw him in any type of facility just to get him off the fucking streets. State public defender James, it's not cool. It makes me kind of upset. Yeah, state public defender James Tabe said Monday his office had no comment, while a spokesperson for the Hawaii Attorney General's office didn't immediately respond to a message seeking comment. How do you answer that? You can't, there's no answer for that. There's no answer. You know what you do? You make the cop that made the initial arrest, you make him get up on the podium and answer all those fucking questions. Spearsterbach's lawyers hope the lawsuit will lead to procedural changes to ensure proper identification of people in custody, said Kenneth Lawson, co-director of the Hawaii Innocence Project. They're also seeking monetary damages to be determined. They're gonna pay him. Ooh, they're gonna pay him. In 2011, when Spearsterbach gave the name Castleberry to authorities after being caught sleeping in a middle school stairwell, Thomas Castleberry's 2009 warrant came up, but police were able to determine Spearsterbach wasn't Thomas Castleberry. Spearsterbach was arrested again in 2015 for sleeping in a park. He gave his real name, but Thomas Castleberry appeared as an alias. Authorities checked fingerprints and again determined he wasn't Castleberry. So all the way up until this event, they did what they had to do to make sure that they got the right person. During his 2017 arrest, Spearsterbach gave his real name, but Thomas Castleberry still showed up as an alias. This time he was arrested for the warrant. Even though he was fingerprinted and photographed at a jail, no one checked the prints or photo against Thomas Castleberry's. The lawsuit said, that's just negligent. I don't know what's going on in Hawaii, but that whole just lock everybody up and figure it out later, it's not working too good for you guys. A man suffered a fractured skull after being beaten with a dog bone during a fight in a Las Vegas pet shop that began in a discussion over mask policies. And it's always the people who are either pro or anti-mask that's always in somebody's face talking about why the next person isn't wearing a mask. You want to, if you're really that scared or if you're really that offended over the whole mask wearing, whatever, then why would you want to get in somebody's face? And yeah, the Las Vegas Review Journal reported that 22-year-old Juan Hamilton was arrested and charged with attempted murder, battery, and abuse. Attempted murder with a dog bone, and charged with attempted murder, battery, and abuse of an older person, resulting in substantial bodily harm. Witnesses of the event, which took place on November 8th at PetSmart on Eastern Avenue, told police that Hamilton and the man he is alleged to have beaten began arguing in the store over its mask policies. Do you even work there to be approaching another shopper about what the hell he's doing? Hamilton, who was behind his alleged victim in line, left the store and then returned with a dog bone. Witnesses say he then used the bone to bludgeon the other man. So let's get this straight. If you were upset that he was endangering the safety of the people around him by not wearing a mask, when you left his immediate vicinity and you were out of said danger, you decided to come back and get even close enough to him to put your hands and beat on him. Yo, people got the shit ass backwards. Hamilton was identified by PetSmart employees. Yeah, that's him. That's his crazy ass. He does it every week. Every time he comes in here, he was a regular at the store and held a PetSmart rewards card. A report of the incident produced by the Metropolitan Police Department. Yeah, when you hold a PetSmart rewards card, most likely your license number or your ID number and your address and everything is on there. Great going. Hamilton, a report of the incident produced by the Metropolitan Police Department and released on Thursday said that video footage was then used to identify Hamilton. Hamilton, who was also charged with burglary of a business and is being held on $5,000 bail, denied he was responsible for the attack. Yo, you actually left and came back with a weapon and assaulted someone. How is it? It wasn't me. What is this? Another case of mistaken identity? That's what we're doing tonight. For the attack, telling police that he had not been to the store for several months. Stop lying. Hamilton will appear in court on November 30th, with court reports indicating that he is to abide by a 6 p.m. curfew and avoid all PetSmart. They banned him from all PetSmarts. That's sure to go over good with the ladies. You're a bad, bad man. Fun show, fun show, fun show. That being said, I'm going to wrap this up. I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.